this planning done until Monday, like noon. So I don't have to spend my lunch times to, oh, everybody gets a 2-hour lunch. It's really nice. It's like, I'm fucking planning the whole time.
Yeah. It just becomes incredibly boring, and you feel like you're just wasting a whole ton of time.
Well, or I can go somewhere else and come back, or like go to the gym, because it's right next door. Yeah. Anyway, we're on.
Hey, we're on. We're on the internet? Right on.
We're on the internet.
Welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Ben in Kaohsiung.
I'm Tim in Taichung.
And we are some Critters in Taiwan.
Couple of them.
Today we're talking about Campaign 3, episode number 27.
Called?
A Race for the Prize.
A Race for the Prize? Really? Already they're saying that?
Yeah.
They haven't raced yet.
No, I don't think it's about the race. I think the prize is metaphorical, and they're racing to get. I don't know.
I mean, what are they going to call the next one?
I don't do well with metaphors. I don't know.
If they call this one the Race of the Prize, what are they going to call the next one? Like
Death Wish 5000.
Oh, perhaps.
Death Wish. It's called Death Wish, right? That's the whole thing. Oh, hey, by the way, we're going to spoil stuff.
Yep.
So if you're not caught up on stuff, now's your chance to leave. Eventually, it's not going to matter. We say that. I think you said that last week. We don't need to keep saying spoilers.
I've noticed something of other things that I've seen when I was watching like video game shit and all that. They say you've been warned. Oh. Maybe that's a thing that you need to say so that you don't get shit for spoilers.
Right.
But hey, you've been warned. We spoil everything up to this point. Anything Critical Role.
Like it. I kind of like that. I'm filing that one away. You've been warned.
Yeah, as a regular house cleaning phrase. Yeah. I've heard you say it a few times, but I'm hearing it more and more when I'm watching these things about like Elden Ring and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, so listen, we're going to be talking about episode number 27. It was a good one. I enjoyed it a lot. I got some things to say about it. A few things to say about it. This was a good episode. I really liked it. Oh, before we get started, I do want to throw another shout out to our good buddy on YouTube, Mr. Ben Hamilton, who reminded me that the first solo at the table. I'd like it, Matt, when Matt says I'd like everyone to leave except for, was Liam. Liam got the first solo as Vax in the Temple of the Raven Queen in Campaign 1.
Oh, yeah. the first clear the table.
Yeah, I'd like everyone to leave the table except for
in
Liam.
Campaign 1. Yeah,
Campaign 1.
I swore that shit happened in Campaign 1, but I couldn't think of it. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, if you remember, I said last week the Ford got the first one, but yeah, no. Even as I was saying it, I was sort of like, yeah, I don't think that's right either. But
didn't feel right. Yeah.
No, it didn't feel right. But I was like, I was almost sure we got one. Maybe there was even more in Campaign 1, though I don't think so.
We're not hooked up to Google yet, so at this point, we're just using our brains.
If Elon has anything to say, Neuralink is coming.
But thank you, Ben Hamilton, for getting in touch and fucking setting us straight. Appreciate it.
That's right. That's what we like. We like that.
Hell yeah, dude.
He also had some fun theories about FCG and about
This is why I don't get into there until like 2 episodes later.
He raised a really good point about FCG, and I've said this about Fern as well, is that Fern and FCG both have really low intelligences. And so they've both Sam and Ashley leaning into that with their RP is like, yeah, probably wouldn't know very much stuff, right? They're maybe not too smart, and they're like, I don't know much about Dancer. I don't know much about my parents. I don't know much about how how stuff works.
Didn't that come up in a 4-sided dive, I believe, where Sam was there and they said like, this is like your third time in a row, like high wisdom, low intelligence, or something to that effect. And
I
don't know. It's just I don't know.
No, not /Vax
not had intelligence.
Yes, it had to because
she had like 14,
trickster,
right?
15, I think, or maybe more. The arcane trickster needs to have an intelligence to cast spells.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's sort of like a prerequisite of it.
High intelligence, low wisdom.
Maybe, yeah. Also, it makes her a really good investigator, terrible in perception.
Yeah, wisdom makes sense for not, because it's like, dude, I've been a goblin for 6 years. I don't know shit.
Right.
Experience-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, she wasn't even a goblin for 6 years. It was like a few months. Year? How long was she?
2 years maybe.
I don't even think it was that long.
You don't think it was that long?
I forget. Yeah, it wasn't long. It wasn't a long time.
Because like Caleb and Not knew each other for months.
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't a very long time at all.
But before they knew each other, Not was in that tribe that made her do some shit that she was fucking appalled by. But to not get killed, she did it.
She did it, right.
So that was like at least a year.
If you remember the story right, she wasn't born a goblin in that tribe. She was resurrected as an adult. You've been warned.
You've been warned.
Hey, should we do some rollies?
Yeah, let's get some rollies out, man.
Get some rollies in.
I've got a couple things I want to say.
I do too.
I'm starting with a 4.
I'm starting with a 12.
All right.
Okay, I got a big one. So I'm just going off of this is a big one. And it's gonna have
take
a
the
lot
whole
of,
episode.
It might. It won't. It's about Erica. It's gonna cover a bunch of stuff.
But sorry, you said Erica?
Erica, yeah, Erica.
Okay, that was gonna give her my point for it.
I know, I'm sure it was. But here's my thing. There's been a lot of toxicity, and I'm just gonna say there's been a lot of toxicity on the socials and on the internets about her specifically. And I'm not gonna get into any of that because I think it's nonsense.
Okay.
I think, you can listen, caveat. Yes, I find her screaming annoying as well. It is annoying, but here's the thing. That isn't her. This is my take. This is pure role play. This is pure RP by her. She is screaming and giddy and high energy as deflection. Pure deflection. This is her.
Interesting take.
Throwing them, just trolling. She's just throwing the scent off of her because the big reveal is going to happen next week when she tries to kill everybody or do something terrible or who knows what. Maybe not next week. I think it's going to happen next week.
It's got to happen next week. I mean, that's my prediction.
It almost has to.
It was my prediction.
So
the other episode ago,
like at the beginning, they start with the planning. They're like, we're gonna plan this, we're gonna do that, and she starts throwing monkey wrench after monkey wrench into their plan, saying, what about this? Let's do this. No, maybe we should do this. And they all just have enough of a little grain and a little nugget of truth and sort of believability in them, so that it's like, oh yeah, that might actually work, but no, not really. And so they're like, well, I'm just trying to do the thing, and I want to do this. Then she does all of the romancing with Laudna and gets rejected. Then she hits on Orem and she gets rejected. And she's sort of standing there like heartbroken. She doesn't want any of that. She doesn't want it at all. It's all just RP. This is a complete fabrication so that it throws them off the scent. And this dovetails neatly into a bunch of other things that I have to say, but it's sort of this is campaign 3. This isn't campaign 1 or 2. This is campaign 3, and this is post calamity, which raised the bar, and there's a bunch of stuff that's been happening.
I mean, it's all post calamity,
right? Well, yeah, okay. I meant anyway. So the idea that they are going to be metagaming. Like I have just for what it's worth, I think a couple of them suspect that she's a bad guy. I think Travis does. I think Laura does. I think Liam suspects. And I think I'd be an idiot if I didn't say that a bunch of the rest of them all didn't cross their minds as well. But I think they're all good enough players
as non-metagamers.
They won't metagame this, and they will genuinely be like, there will be some gasps. There will be like, I knew it. I was right. And then they're going to role play it out the way it should be.
I got that hint as well.
Yeah.
I did get that hint as well, for sure.
There's a moment, I don't know if I can throw this out there as well off of this, at 1 hour, 12 minutes, 9 seconds. Erica picks up her D20 and rolls it.
For no reason.
This is in the middle of a conversation between Laudna and Imogen. This is in the middle of their conversation, and I don't know what it was for. I'm assuming that she was trying to listen to their conversation in the other room, right? Lauda and Imogen had walked away into another room, and they started having a conversation. She was maybe rolling for a perception check to try and get there, right? And then she picks up the phone.
Well, I wonder
motions
if
to
Matthew
Matt.
might have been in contact.
100%. They were in eye contact. They were making motions at it, and Matt was
Fuck,
like,
it was in my
"Oh, there you
pocket,
go."
man.
And it's dude, go and watch it again. 1 hour 12 minutes. And Travis.
It wasn't in my pocket. It was on my washing machine, so I wasn't looking right at it. I was just like sitting out there in my balcony.
Travis sees it. And
Oh, he does.
He does. And I think a couple of people clocked the dice roll because it wasn't hidden. It was a very obvious dice roll.
It's also not.
A couple of people
it's not quiet.
The thing is, here's another reason why Erica's a fucking genius. That shirt. Did you notice the shirt she was wearing?
Nope.
Completely cut right down the middle and wide open. No bra. So it's like, oh yeah,
Jesus.
Dude, so they're you're like, okay, right. And she's holding her phone right here. Right there. So Travis does this. Nope. And just completely looks away. And Erica's just like do and can't look. I think, honestly, call me sexist, I don't care. I think this is thought out. This is premeditated. This was planned. Maybe it's coincidental. Yeah, sure.
I have breasts, and if anybody looks, they're gonna look away because this is not suggestive. It's revealing.
It's revealing. Yeah, exactly. And so she's like, and then I think she was holding her tablet. She has this really big. I think she actually may have had two devices. A nice like a mini, maybe the iPad Mini or
generic
something.
tablet.
Generic tablet, yes, and then a generic phone, and that whole thing. So there is some moments, and then it goes. Then later, I'm just gonna way at the end. Where is it? I lost my. There it is. The screaming at like three hours or so ish. Where
boy.
was it? It's like when the scream. There it is. 3 hours exactly at 3 hours 34 seconds. Erica starts screaming and screaming and screaming.
There was a 20. There was a 19.
Yep. And she just starts shrieking. And yes, it's annoying. I'll say it again. But this is it completely in character. Let's recall last episode when she went into the other character. That character was cool, calm, collected, determined. There was a complete shift there. This is all fabricated for deception. That's my take.
Okay. Can I jump in here on this one?
Yes, discuss.
This is going to be my first one, too, because it was going to be a little bit sour. Like last week, I started with this little sour thing and blast past it. My first thought was like, all right, Erica, maybe calm down a little bit. You know, like I love Erica and everything that she does. Her excitement is something that excites me.
Yeah, it's infectious.
You know, it's infectious for sure. Like Geek and Sundry and everything that she's done. It's just like when she gets excited, I'm just like, yes, I hope more people get excited because of her excitement.
Sure.
And when she was doing RP, like in the game, she wasn't screaming. She wasn't doing stuff in RP, you know. But outside of it, like reacting to stuff, it was like, okay, hold on a second. Like you're Sideshow Bob, and I'm here for Krusty. You know, like so maybe tame it down. Where you're at a 9, we kind of need you at a 6 right now.
Oh yeah, there's sorry to interrupt. There's quite a few that, as I said earlier, there's some toxicity online. Surprise, surprise.
I did not see it. I didn't look for it.
Yeah, about her, but I do genuinely feel sorry for people who watch it like you with headphones. Because I can imagine, especially if you got good ones and you maybe got the volume turned up a little bit too loud, those high notes that she hits could be damaging.
My thing's got compressors, yo. They're all right.
Well, right.
Yeah. That was another tiny little thing. Like I think it was the Elden Ring one shot. Was that when BLM was there as a player?
Yeah,
character?
he was like
the booster for this other character, right?
Right.
Yeah, and at one point, pretty early on, he like, you know, his voice as it does, just like fucking, he blasted it.
Yep.
And then he immediately was like looking past. I think it's Steve. If Steve is still the, that's a lot of F's. If Steve is still the sound guy, they were like, you know, and he's like, I'm getting the tame it down a little bit, so I'm gonna not shout so much anymore. And I don't think Erica. I'm sure Erica got it, but maybe she didn't pay attention to it. You know, because I'm sitting there on the treadmill. I'm just like, yo, stop. It was like a 7-second straight screams. Like, stop it.
There was several screams in a row at that point. So, I mean, you can say people get upset about it. My take on it is, well, okay, listen, if this is RP, it's fucking brilliant. If this is just her being her, super annoying.
It's like Inception RP.
I think so. I'm going to say, and I do believe this. I mean, I could be wrong. But I do believe that this is RP. This is her trying to throw the scent off. This is her trying to be deceptive
as an actress at the table.
Yeah,
as a player at the table.
I think it's both. It's both character and PC. It's both of them, because this is something. We said this last week. This is something that hasn't been done yet. Not really. I mean, you can say what you want about Archon being, evil and all that, but he didn't really hurt them. They were allies. That's right. They were doing stuff together. So I think they've got to play this very cool. I mean, that solo that she got at the table with Matt was, like we said this last week, this was completely for our benefit. The players don't know about it at all. Which dovetails, if I may, dovetails into that other thing that I wanted. Matt got questioned on somebody called him out on Twitter, and as he's wont to do, he replied about the metagaming, about players that the question was, I don't remember it exactly. I should have written it down. I thought about it, but I'm paraphrasing here. It might have been the Bard guy with the something Bard. Anyway, he was on, remember that show that Matt and Burton, what's her name?
Mika.
Mika?
Mika Burton?
Yeah, Mika Burton, LeVar Burton's daughter. Jesus, my brain.
You're just thinking of fucking snowboarding companies. Lamar Burton.
No, LeVar Burton, Geordie LaForge from Star Trek, Reading Rainbow.
I'm not. Oh, yeah. The
Reading Rainbow,
motherfucking
right?
Reading. Yeah.
LeVar Burton, that's his daughter. Anyway.
What?
Yeah.
That's his daughter?
Yes, that's Mika Burton. LeVar
Holy
Burton's daughter.
shit! Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, dude, Geordie LaForge from TNG. Anyway.
Sorry, Steve. That was pretty loud.
So he was on, the guy I think that asked the question was on that show that they did, that Critter Hug show that Matt and Mika did.
Oh, I think I've only seen 2 of those.
Yeah, the something Bard, the nomadic Bard, or whatever. Hey, Ben Hamilton, remind me what that was. Anyway, he asked the question of Matt, how do you not get your players to find out about this stuff and like spoil things for themselves, like i.e. how do you get the players not to pay attention to what's happening and to spoil this stuff for themselves, so they know that Dusk is actually a bad person and is going to kill the Callaways. Anyway, or going to try to kill the Callaways.
And maybe she's not that bad. I don't know.
No, I think she very much is.
I mean, of course, relative to this right here, but then it's like maybe Callaway's parents are pretty fucking bad.
That could be it too. Like they could actually be genuinely. They may have
Callaway's
stolen
the redemption
crown, so.
Fucking child.
Sure. Maybe
I'm just
may
saying,
not even be a Callaway.
I don't like.
There's all kinds of theories.
Yeah.
Anyway, his answer was pretty revealing. He's like, well, A, it's pre-recorded, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But B, he's like, we've had this conversation many times, and I trust them not to do that. It's part of the trust.
Yeah.
And so it's like, right, they maybe in the beginning, in those early days, maybe they would have, i.e. Sam looking at, as they're live, looking at his phone and watching chat and going,
yeah.
Keyless mom, what? It's like, like that sort of a thing. Like there's
if Sam didn't look? Yeah, would they have gotten it, or would Matthew would he have said something?
Way later.
He may have been like, maybe at the it's like, and we're gonna end it right there. And like Sam's sitting there like, that's the fucking gif that came out of that. Like what if they didn't get it after that? Sam might have, Matt might have been like, you guys know this name.
Yeah.
He might have said something like that.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, because they were all sitting there. If Sam wasn't sitting there just being like, dude, you know, and sent the text, etc. You know.
Yeah,
like,
and then they went off and off and off. Yeah. So that's what I'm sort of saying. Like now it seems like they've had this conversation, and again, this is a big company now. They've got a lot at stake. So there is a showmanship that's happening here.
Absolutely.
They've got to keep things. They've got to keep this stuff. You know.
Yeah. You got to keep it tight. And that's basically within my yes and there. I'm here for Krusty, not Sideshow Bob. But I love Sideshow Bob. I really do. It's just like right now, it's like, dude, if they go up to an 8, you can join them, but do not surpass them. Right. Don't scream at a 9 when they're at a 6. Like, just don't do that. You can't do that.
And again, I think that's like I'll reiterate. That's the deception. I don't think she's been on other shows, man. Like she's on D20. She doesn't act like that. She doesn't. Some of them, yes, she does do the shrieking. But again, it's
sorry, the streaking?
It's contextual. Shrieking.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The screaming, the shrieking.
But like you have a fucking address? Erica streaking. Okay, got it. All right, I'll save that for later.
But the one of them when she was Lilith, I think which one was that? It might have been the high school one. I watched them. These are the D20 stuff I've watched, not all of them, some of them. And she's fucking excellent in them. It's just great. It's a completely different person. She's a good actor. Yeah. So that's why I think the toxicity is unwarranted. It's an act. It's just an act, I think.
Yeah, if I can tack onto that too, like her voice between the character Dusk that she's playing and whatever the person she actually is, when you heard and like when he cleared the table and she's sitting there, like the voice that she uses in that, I was like, oh, I could go to sleep to that voice, you know. And she's choosing something that's wildly different.
Yes,
and I'm sure that Matthew and her talked about it. It's like, hey, you're gonna play a character, but you need to be deceptive. You need to be like. Childish, but like somehow crazy skilled and stuff, and like, which brought up that little fight, which was really fun to watch. Yep. Between Orm and her.
The 13 minutes of rollies.
Yeah, it was so fucking fun. I love that shit.
Yeah. Speaking of, should we do a little rollies?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go ahead. I didn't write that one down, so yeah, let's do a little rollies.
Oh, hello.
Ooh, I'm 13. Rolling low. 7.
Okay. I'm going to go straight with my next point because it's kind of fun too. The postcards. Say it again.
The
postcards. Fern's postcards.
Okay. I got something about that.
So Chetney rolled that 25 investigation check, right? And he gets a whisper.
Gets the whisper
on an investigation check. That's a if not a first, it's hasn't happened often. Usually whispers are, I would say, 95%.
Depends on the subject, you know.
An investigation, man, that stuff that doesn't happen that often.
He's looking at something personal, you know, like what do you see that nobody else saw? That makes a little sense, you know.
So he gets basically he reveals what he learns about them, and they're perfect condition. They're mint. They have not been increased. They have not been aged. They're all like they're basically like 90. Some of them are 90 years old, and they all look the same age. And Fern wasn't letting anything go here. Like she was very much just like, well, yeah, I take good care of them. Of course, they're in perfect condition. I take good care of them.
But the corners, you know, which nothing. They mentioned the corners.
Yeah. Nothing. So I've got 3 theories. Number 1, she genuinely has been tricked and been deceived, and that these are fabricated something.
This is your first theory. Fuck.
This is she's been tricked, and duped into it. Which again, the word dovetails twice now. This dovetails into the next one, which is that she's had her memory modified. She's been memory modified. And so she believes that they are, there's nothing wrong with them. She's been told that there's nothing wrong with them, so there is nothing wrong with them. Now, there's 2 possibilities there, right? Maybe the spell, maybe not the spell. The first one is no spell. Again, low intelligence, maybe has been tricked. But that point number 2 could have been assisted with a modified memory. Number 3, which is my favorite of the bunch, and I'm quite proud of this, Fern is grandma.
What? I'm gonna need a little more there.
She. There is no grandma. There is no nana.
That's why she doesn't know which side of the family she's on.
Yep.
She's just taking care of herself. Like,
yep, 100%. She's
okay. How would that work?
You ever watch Mr. Robot? With
I'm gonna need more information on both these things.
TV show basically riffed off Fight Club, where there was an imaginary split personality, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton Jr. Edward Norton, yeah. Anyway, brain glitch there. Brad Pitt, you remember Fight Club, right?
Yeah.
Imaginary, Tyler Durden, and who's that? Chuck Palahniuk, the author of the book, whatever. Split personality
version of schizophrenia that exists.
Right.
For
Mr.
some
Robot
folks.
was a similar riff off of that TV show. I think it went 3 or 4 seasons. The first, again, one of those shows where the first season was excellent, and then it sort of
petered off.
Yeah, it wasn't very good anymore. It got a little apocalyptic, so it wasn't that interesting or believable, really. But it was about a guy who saw his dad, and his dad was already dead, and it was like, right, so he became somebody else out of that and had this split personality. I think there might be something like that, where Fern made up grandma, and actually she is grandma.
Okay.
I don't know. Far-fetched maybe, but hey, listen, why not?
That's what a theory is.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
That's my favorite one. I hope it's true. It's not true.
My immediate response to that is that when she describes her grandma, she does say a few things that are similar between her and her grandma, but she also mentions a lot of things that are different between her and her grandma.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's like, but look at both you, me, and anybody watching. It's like, hey, you got the tender side, you got the fucking crazy side too. Everybody has multiple sides to them. That's why every astrological sign works for you. If you read every single one of them, it's like, oh yeah, that's totally me, bro.
There is something also that, and this isn't from me. I was skimming through the Reddit, the subreddit, and then they have the thread in there. The Critical Role subreddit, and then they have the thread in there about the recent episode. It's the pinned one at the very top of the subreddit, and it's just people just spouting off nonsense. And somebody started talking about, and I tried to read through, but there were no specifics. Somebody mentioned that this had been brought up in the original EXU1. With ferns, remember the nega fern, and then there was like the dark fern and all of that. And she said that the letters are not from her. These letters did get brought up, or postcards or something.
Back in that day?
Yeah. Apparently, I don't remember it either, but it did get brought up, and I
only watched those once.
Yeah, I was tempted to go back and watch it again, but I'm like, then it's just I'm too busy right now. I got no time. So something did get brought up about it, and it sort of was. Then somebody later on in that thread, somebody brought up another thing about somebody telling Fern more lore about her background. So this is where streams start colliding, because Matt did say that everything that happened in EXU is canon. So a lot of that stuff in there's some juggling. There's going to be some mental gymnastics and juggling, and hopefully they can figure this out, because I hope they don't contradict stuff. Listen, this isn't.
Matt's there the whole time.
Yeah, I know, but big picture, this is not. There's no writers. This is just a bunch of dudes sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if they do make mistakes, people got to chill out and be like, "Oh, okay, you made mistakes. It's all good. It's all good." Like, let them play, let them have fun. You can't say that, for anybody out there that plays D&D, you can't say that you don't make mistakes at your own table. You can't. You just can't. Physically cannot say that. So let them make some mistakes. It's all good. It's part of the fun.
It's as absurd as saying, like, yeah, when you play poker, you never lose a hand. No, bullshit. Losing a hand is part of the game.
That's right. That's right. So the whole idea that some of this stuff has been brought up before, and so therefore it cannot be untouched, is nonsense. Like, so what? So it was brought up, big deal. Let them change it as they want. They're having fun playing D&D. Let's enjoy them having fun playing D&D. As I hope you would have fun watching me play D&D at my table.
Well, I absolutely do.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, shit. See, it looks the same.
Yeah.
My guess to that would be Back in the so I'm going I just checked and I'm at episode 10 of the campaign 3, like rewatching back through. I tell you what, this is a side note. The first fucking 9 episodes, and this one included, number 10, they're so fucking entertaining, for fuck's sake.
Nice.
Travis is on fire this entire time.
As Bertrand, eh?
He only lasts 3 episodes.
Is that all? All right.
That's it.
See,
and then,
I'm feeling your joy, and I'm tempted to start, but I'm gonna wait.
Give it some time. I think give it some time. I would say
give it some time because
I'm stuck in. I'm wrapped in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let it wait for a little bit.
I want it to age a little bit more so I can really be like, holy fuck, because I know it's gonna be good. I know.
But I'll tell you what I've noticed differently about this time, and like you and I watched the first episode in that room that everybody's looking at right there.
Right there. Right over there.
And I'm sitting there like, shit, I've got a couple of things to say about this, including this point right here.
Go.
Is that like when I read a book or watch a movie or watch a show, I'll pick up, I'll get certain things and I'll piece certain things together, but the things in between those things, maybe it's just my brain that doesn't work that way, but I imagine there's a lot of other people out there that feel the same way.
Okay.
When you read a book, sometimes you glaze over a fucking paragraph and then you start paying attention again. You know, like I don't have ADD, I don't have ADHD, but that's what happens sometimes. And I'll go back a page and be like, oh, okay, shit. And I'll lose interest at the same spot because it's not me doing it. It's the whatever the influence, the stimulus is that's just not, it's not sparking that thing. And then as soon as the next thing comes up, I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. So I miss a lot of stuff, but my second time through, I call it my second time, even though I've seen most of these twice before we cast about it. When I'm going through this one, I already know that shit, so I'm not listening to it, I'm not paying attention to it, I'm not focused on it, and I'm hearing a lot of other little details, as you do, you know? And they're not necessarily important or anything like that, but it's just like little stuff, you know, just tiny little things. And that's happening this time. It's not the first time where I'm like, oh, just get everything in. No, I'm relaxed and I'm listening. I'm like, okay, this makes a lot more sense. I'm not focused on remembering people's names, fucking places. Right. No, it's actually happening where it's making sense. The map itself and the characters themselves are making more sense in this mad web that Matthew has created. I'm
right there with you. You also, I was just to add in, you also have the benefit of hindsight, because foresight. I would say hindsight. Hindsight, sure. You know what's going to happen in the future. So you're like, right, I know where this is leading, so I can relax and I don't have to worry about things. And I know it's weird, right? But it's in the past, even though it's in their future.
I know that's going to happen. So let's just go ahead and forget about that and listen to this. Yeah.
So then, so you have that benefit of sort of knowing what's already going to happen, and therefore you've got some insight.
And it's wonderful, and like I imagine I'm going to go back through, eventually when you go back through as well. Like for a simple example that I have actually written down here, with the Nightmare King, they also mentioned Callaway.
Right. It smells like a Callaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That got brought up in this last episode.
Yeah.
They brought up the Nightmare King, and they were like, yeah, remember you wore the mask of the Nightmare King, and the Nightmare King knew. No, or did they mention that? Did they say that the Nightmare King knew Fern? I may have read that on the Reddit thread.
There was a situation with Laudna and this other thing that was similar to her, kind of, or something like that. I don't know. There were a lot of similarities there. Where they're like, here, if you take this, then maybe you can join us or whatever. There was that. Are you talking about that?
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
Like with Callaway being targeted for some reason that we still don't know about.
The crown, the crown of the midnight something, right?
Sure, the Sealy Court as well, and being fucking hell. I've got
the Unsealy Court. We suspect that the Callaway parents stole the crown. There it is right there. The Moontide crown. This is my notes.
We suspect that's what the Callaway parents did.
They stole from the Unsealy Court the Moontide crown. Now, maybe they didn't. Maybe it's like the Unsealy Court is trying to recover or trying to get that from them because it's a blah blah. Who knows? We don't know. You're right.
Right.
We don't know what it is. We know what it is. We don't know what it does or where it's from or what anything. We don't know anything about it.
But
so.
we also understand that any kind of fey being kind of has a sense of other fey beings or fey realms or fey shit going on, right? At least according to EXU and what's going on here in Campaign 3.
Yeah.
They have a sense of it, and in Calamity, when Loquacious, he was sitting there and just like, and this fey shit, he was like, I think at some point there was like, roll a perception,
the queen.
and he's like fucking 26. And it's like, yeah, you sense some fey going on here. Something fey is happening right here. I'm trying to do a BLM impression there with the head movements and everything. Like, yeah, you sense some fey. There's some fey going on here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It was a very minor yes and tangent point,
No,
but
it's not
she
minor
did
at
get
all.
brought up earlier.
Yeah,
and
that's important.
I don't think at that time it was important.
Yeah.
But then after Calamity, the serendipity. I'm going back to the wrap up here.
Oh right.
As a tag on to this, if you don't mind.
No.
The serendipity of Loquacious just finding something in a book. This is Sam just being like, yeah, the Sealy Court.
Yep.
And you just, I'm Loquacious Sealy, right?
Yes.
And that he just chose that.
What was the original name? Fuddrucker or some ridiculous.
It was like a
insane.
3-name. I didn't write it down. I probably should have.
It made me
figured
laugh.
you would
I was
have.
like, no, I thought about it too, but I was like, I didn't take any notes for that stuff.
It was just too much.
I just enjoyed it and laughed. I'm like, well, I'm glad we did. And they all said, well, you robbed us and we didn't get that name. I'm like, yeah, good riddance. It's good for a joke, but
it was a very jokey name, especially coming from a Fey realm. That was very much earthy, like jokey name.
Sense.
But the serendipity of that, I'm pretty sure that Matthew is gonna play off of that if he's not already.
Yeah. I think so. I think you're right.
I'm quite
I think
sure he is already.
I think I think that's a given.
Yeah. That's my yes and as well.
Just one little thing. I did write myself a little note on this one during that postcard debacle where they were sort of when they were doing the investigation stuff. Abria popped into chat at the 5644 mark. Yeah, she actually popped in a couple of times into chat. So like I do when interesting things are happening. Second watch, I'll open up the chat and I'll just be like, let's see what they're saying, and then I sort of scroll back and forth. I'm like, Quitty, what? And I go scroll down. Oh, there she is, right there. She popped in and just said hi. So shout out for that. I like it when they do that. I think it's a little gift for the chat. They're not doing anything, like Brian Foster popping in and Matt popping in and now, Abria popping in. It's like, right. Yeah. Pop in and say hi. It's a little gift. It's a little treat for it also, I feel like talking about like people being assholes and stuff, it calms people down a little bit. It makes them sort of realize that
they get a little starstruck.
A little bit. And it deflects. It gets people off of weird places.
A lot of messages. It's like, and then Abria pops in. It's like a cork for a second.
Or the opposite, where suddenly everybody is like, "Hi, Abria! Hi! Oh, Laren was amazing. My favorite character." It's like it almost turns the chat away from something what they were like the show, and people started bringing up Calamity. They were like, "Oh, I loved your character. I loved Laren. She was so amazing." And I'm just watching it, and I'm like, "Yep, there it is."
As teachers, it's kind of like, all right, it's getting a little noisy. Be like, hey, guys,
Squirrel.
A little noisy. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And by the way, anybody who's watching, the way that Ben was doing what he's doing, he's looking at chat, he brings it in like this, and he does this. He actually has this set up in his apartment where he actually has holographic things.
I do Minority Report here.
Yeah, he does it. He has to put on these special gloves and shit. It's fucking true, man. If you're not convinced, go fuck yourself.
Rollies?
Yeah, rollies.
Oh!
Ooh, I'm high this time. 17, yo.
2.
Oh, boy.
Natural.
All right, what am I going to bring up? Do I want to go back to the wrap-up, or do I want to stick it to the fucking...
Stick it to the fucking...
I'm going to stick it to the fucking then. All right. Okay.
That just reminds me of that line. Where is it?
I had a fucking knew it.
I had a fucking knew it. One of the greatest Taliesin lines. That goes right up there with the "it's again." That's it's perfect. He comes up with them about every 10 episodes. There's just or 10, 15, 20 episodes, something like that. It's like it takes a little while and then boom, there it is. I had a fucking knew it.
Wait, no, hold on a second. You're thinking he's coming up with this shit? No, it's something that serendipitously happens.
100%.
Okay. It's you think he's writing shit?
No,
this is material.
Absolutely not. I'm saying he comes up with these lines, like as in he comes out. Sorry, I shouldn't say comes up with. He comes out with these lines.
He vomits
they
it
come
out.
Right.
That first one with fucking we've talked about it before with fucking what's his name? All these names are coming out.
Caduceus.
No, before that.
Mollymock.
And when they come up into this thing, and he's like, I don't know what he says, but there's no quote for it, because it's just like, there's more from that. Come on, and just Travis in particular, just like
just killing himself.
Wires crossed. That was amazing. And Taliesin's sister's like, good thing this isn't on the internet for millions of people to see. Just sitting there, just ruining what he just did because he couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, completely glitched.
The Taliesin glitch. Fuck, that's not my point, but I'm going to respond to that real quick.
It was an amazing glitch.
When he said, I had a fucking knew it, like, everybody, like, lost their shit. Yeah. And then I was like, I had to go back. Like, I pulled the Tucker, and I was like, I had to go back and watch Taliesin. He looked genuinely bummed, dude. I felt bad about it. I felt bad for him. I felt like sympathetic or empathetic, perhaps, because he's sitting there, and you see him at some point, he's just like,
oh, my brain. Why does my brain do that to my mouth?
And it's like, hey, man, it happens to the best of us. Like, and you just happen to be in front of tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds.
The urge there to try to, explain yourself or go with it, and you don't know which one's right, and probably neither of them are. Like, so you just sort of have to sit there and just sort of be like, just take it.
It's out there. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody else is laughing. I had a fucking knew it. And I, like, as soon as I heard it the first time, I listened back to it 4 times and I watched it about another 5 times. For those who don't know what we're talking about,
he was Taliesin's character, Ashton, was trying to say, I had a feeling or I fucking knew it. And it was like a spoonerism where he put the two together.
I had a fucking knew it. That's the funny thing, because he said it with such conviction. That it was both of them with such great power, and everybody was like, what?
Perfect. Just perfect.
And the poor guy, he really looked like he's like, fuck, again? God damn it.
I didn't mean to derail you, but that was a pretty funny moment. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Cross that one off.
All right.
I'm going to go to FCG. This is towards the beginning, first half. Heightened emotions. He talked about Cyrus, when like they were talking. He had heightened emotions about what was it about? It was the girls gave him the feint of they were having such a hard time. Let's go out there and act like we're having a hard time so that he can help us, and it backfired, right? Yes. So they put FCG in this position of like the D&D Dr. Phil, right? D and Dr. Phil. And it backfired. And of course, my first thought was troll. Sam is gonna fucking troll them, of course. Especially backed up by when he said, "I'm gonna cast empathetic something with
transfer suffering and then calm emotions."
Transfer suffering with Laudna, who was just like showed up through the door, through the ring or whatever.
That's the transfer suffering one is the one that he's glitched. He's cast that, and that's the one where if he doesn't use it. So if I may.
Yeah, go ahead. Fill me in here.
In combat, it's not really applicable because it takes a full round to come back around, and there's only been a couple of times where he hasn't been able to use those. So mechanically, he absorbs hit points.
6 seconds.
And it takes a long time. And by the time that his turn comes back around again, he usually does something to get rid of those temporary hit points so they don't cause the glitch.
At which point he starts glitching, eh?
Exactly. So if I was sort of on my second watch, I was like 1, 2, 3. I counted to 6, and I was like, and then he started glitching. I was like, you fucking genius, you mad genius. Like he fully was aware of what would happen when he casts that. It's not a cast. It's a channel
ability.
divination. It's a divination, a channel divination, channel divinity. Jesus, channel divinity. It's homebrew, right? So they've got it on the Wikipedia.
It's a
and if you go
channel
on there,
divinity, but we don't know if he's divine or not. He's just
right.
a
It's
cleric, so it's divinity.
It's in his Wikipedia page, the FCG's Wikipedia page. It explains all of the stuff that it can do. But yeah, that's so. If he doesn't, now it doesn't say anything about if he doesn't use it, then it just says in the Wikipedia page, it says that, or the Critterpedia, whatever it's called, it says that if he doesn't use those temporary hit points, then he loses them and gets. No, it doesn't say that. It's just all about hit points.
Right.
So this is RP flavor by Sam, maybe by Matt, maybe they had the conversation. I don't know. But yeah, 100%. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Absolutely.
Huh. Yeah, because like, and when he said like, and God damn it, Sam was fucking brilliant in this.
Yeah.
Because he was saying things, and he was like, "Oh, we got to get Cyrus out of the city." He threw it in there in between things, on the spot, in front of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people at the moment. I'm not even fucking speaking right because of this. Like he just threw in, is like, we got to get Cyrus out of the city, and then
Delilah.
and he's like, and Delilah, yeah, he said Delilah instead of Dancer, and then it's like, and then he started describing she was riding a horse, He also just started describing what sounded like a Firbolg.
Yeah. Well, and then we sort of got that confirmation from what's her name?
Floppy ears with soft fur.
Yeah, well,
which is not Imogen, which is not a horse.
The owner of Finders Takers, which is who's the owner of Finder Taker? That's Dancer's old partner, Esmira.
Oh, yeah, the one that they probably fucked, and
she actually confirmed that she has a slight fur and floppy ear, or maybe just fur.
Oh, she did confirm that.
Yeah, she did. She did sort of confirm it. So that's the genius of it, is that Sam's putting some truth, or FCG is putting truth into there.
Maybe Pussy was named after her.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Somebody,
not her, but a particular smell.
Somebody threw this out there on the Reddit thread, that they're like, I'm a clinical psychologist, and they're like, I've witnessed this with my contemporaries.
Oh, for fucks.
This is therapist burnout. This is what happens when therapists treat too many people too much. They're like, they burn out. They get. He called it secondary PTSD, and he's like, the therapists lose their shit.
They mix up their fucking info.
This happens to them. Therapists need to take time out as well.
If Sam did that much research,
I think so.
I mean, good on you, Sam. But
no, I think he did. He talked about this. He's got books. He's read stuff. He's preparing for this.
Sure, he said that after they were like equating or comparing him to Dr. Phil. We're like, oh shit, I'm a therapist now. Fuck, I guess I'll do this. We made it canon. I don't believe that he went back and read like 12 books about shit, especially feces from doctors.
He's too smart for this. He's figured it out. He's way quicker. We know this. He's way quicker than him and BWF. The pair of them they're those. I've got a couple of friends like the real friends like this in my life that are way too quick for their own good. They're the ones that they react. They're the best at parties because they're super quick and they're fast and they've got all the answers, the wittiness, the cleverness. There's some people who are just gifted like that, and Sam is one of them. So him coming up with this stuff on the fly. Yeah, it's amazing, but I'm not surprised because I'm like, it's just
who he is. Some people have that gift, man.
Yep.
Fucking hell. Yeah, because like
it's genius.
When they started mentioning like some they started mentioning some Firbolg, according to the D&D, according to it's Firbolg, not Firbolg.
Yeah.
He started mentioning like the floppy ears and shit like that, and was like, oh yeah, she's furry. Just like, wait, and then after he started like kind of glitching,
skin.
They were like, wait, are you just describing fern? Are you describing
moon tattoo?
We don't know what's true. We don't know what's not.
That's the genius. That's the genius of it.
Like what you just said with the moon tattoos. He's like, oh, she had moon tattoos. I immediately went like, okay, there's a lot of connections here. And he's like, no, sorry, that was Orem.
Right.
And I was like, fuck. all of that shit right there, I don't know which is true and which is not true.
So enough time has gone by at that point that he's starting to regain that glitch is starting to calm down a little bit. I think Sam's got a mental clock in his head, and he's like, 6 seconds have gone by. Now I need to start glitching. Oh, another 6 seconds has gone by. I can calm the glitching down. Okay, another 6 seconds has gone by. I can calm it down even more, and then more and more. And then as some time goes by, it's like, oh no, that was Orem. Never mind. That wasn't her. That's Orem. It's all good.
Right. But also, maybe, I don't know how it works because I don't think anybody knows how it works.
Well, they do.
I
hope they do.
Well, maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
Maybe they're.
Maybe none of them do.
That'd be amazing.
Like after, does he? Does he? It's he. They. So he? I can say that, right? Mm-hmm. Does he remember everything that he said, and later could confirm or deny everything that he said? Because he'd be like, "Oh, I said this. No, that wasn't right. It was because of this." Or, or was the glitch just a glitch, and then it's just gone in the annals of history?
This is a secondary aspect of having that. Sam, I'm talking about Sam here. Having that ability to be quick is that he can just deflect so effortlessly. So if somebody calls him on it, he's just going to go, oh, and how about Laudna? Laudna, are you okay? I should be there for you, Laudna. I should be helping you. Or Imogen, I should be working on you. And it's that ability to just, don't worry about me. I need to be helping you. Right? We saw it firsthand. It's like
I feel like that was a troll.
100% it is. And it's like, how do you separate what is troll and what is
started that
glitch
way,
and what
but
is
it turned into like a real situation.
I think that he's meshed them all together so well that it doesn't matter anymore.
Sam, we know you're watching. Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude. What you're doing with your character.
Slow golf clap. It's fun. It's real fun.
We're pretty sure that you play golf, but you're pretty terrible, but you pay money for it anyway. We're going to still do that slow golf clap.
Just a quick little note on this one. I bought 2 pens when we first started this thing, but way back in November. I bought a black. I love these Pilot microball pens.
Favorite.
They're my favorite pens of all time. My black one, which is the one that I started this podcast with, and I only use these pens, so I didn't even touch the blue one. I only used the black one. It ran out. I don't know if you can see it or not, but ran out right there. I don't know if you can tell.
Look at that. I've never used one to completion.
Neither have I. This is the very first time.
So I love the clip on it. The clip is so long that it sticks in your pocket.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what wrestling or what party you go to.
I think for the very first time I probably have written. I think I've worn these guys out in university, but for the first time, I actually wore out a Pilot microball.
Look at you, man. Look at you.
So I did I was just a little sidebar there. Like, hey, I write a lot. I said I do 5-6 pages although I do pretty big font, so yeah.
Yeah, you're one of your letters is about 4 times as much ink as one of my letters.
I remember my buddy, one of my buddies in university. He and I always used these pens, and we'd be writing notes. And he's like, the reason why these microballs are so good is because you can write really tiny with them. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also you can write really fast with them. So I tend to write really, really big and really fast, and he would write really, really tiny and really slow. So it's like, okay, 6 in one, half dozen in the other. It's multiple.
I used them for inking pencil drawings.
Yeah,
learned that shit from my brother.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Was that my point? You got a yes and?
Oh yeah, I got a yes and.
I think that's what's going on. Yeah, that's the first one I won. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna. I have a fun one. I'm just looking at my page here, and it's basically.
If we're maybe keeping it short, we're already at 53 minutes.
Hey, yeah, we are. Okay, I'll just do a quick one here. So Erica, I thought we talked about this earlier as a callback. Erica rolls the dice. Her and Matt start texting on the phone about it with each other. This was during the conversation.
Now, this is before we started casting, so maybe not glaze over it.
What?
This is we had this conversation before we started casting, didn't we?
No. We talked about this just now, where they were chatting.
Right. Forget what I said. All right.
Yeah, you're all good. So we said this already. Erica picks up the dice. She rolls the dice. Then she starts texting with Matt. They have this conversation back and forth, blah, blah, blah. at the end of that, and then after the end of that conversation we just had about FCG and Imogen and Laudna, those three were having their conversation in the side room. They wrap that up, and Liam's like, sorry, I'd like to rewind for a quick second. Yeah. When they leave the room, I'd like to go and have this fight with
concurrent fight.
With this that's happening at the same time as the conversation. The look in Matt's eyes, well, he was momentarily horrified.
Oh,
because this has the potential to fuck up whatever him and Erica were planning.
Right.
I saw
whatever they were rolling and texting about.
I rewound it, and I'm like, yep, nope. So this spawned all kinds of fun little things. Like, did Liam realize that and try and throw a monkey wrench into it to derail whatever she was doing? Did Liam just do it for fun as RP with Orem? Was Liam, what? Did Liam just want to get involved? I don't know.
Is this a classic Liam where it's like, hey, hold on a second. Don't dive down for the fucking eyeball to shove into your chest. Right. Let me talk to you for a second. He's like, well, she's already down there. Make it quick.
Yeah.
They spent a minute? So she had a fucking head start, and she got it, and she controlled water. In campaign 2, we're talking about Avantika, back in the day. Is that Liam, or is that his character?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Liam goes in
seems
deep,
like he's doing it twice now.
Yeah. So this one sort of worried me for a quick heartbeat, and then I realized that I could see the look. I was sort of paying attention to Matt's expression while that was all happening, and I could almost imagine. I could be reading too much into it. That's genuinely possible.
Watch Matt more,
but I could almost see him doing the mental gymnastics. Like, he's like, okay, so she didn't get the information. She didn't get this. She was too busy with that.
And
but
that's
maybe she caught enough of it
in his head.
And so he's either trying to square circles, or he's retconning, or who knows what, right? But his eyes he was doing rapid eye movement. He was like this.
Oh boy,
there,
there. Like, oh
here,
shit.
There, and he does he does the
changing
thing
his plan.
He does this.
Maybe this one a little bit.
Playing with his bracelets a little bit. So there's a bunch. He'd be an amazing poker player. I'd love to play high stakes poker with him.
Yeah.
So we figured out all of his tell. Thousands of hours on the internet. You would not be good at poker. Don't do it. Or maybe he'd be amazing because he would know that all of those were his tells, and he would just go with.
Look at those poker players. They're on the internet, but people still can't figure them out.
So I think what's happening here is that because there's such heavy. There's been a lot of in this campaign 3, a lot of really heavy PC on PC drama that Matt has really had his hands full trying to figure out the lesbianism of everything. What?
Wait, what? Sorry, what were you saying?
Were you not doing the universal sign for scissoring there?
Oh no, that's this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was doing.
I don't know how I don't know how fingers work.
I don't know how fingering works either. That's what happens when you're single for 7 years.
Right. Your hands get real dexterous. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently, they get really good at fingering each other.
Gross. All right.
Gross.
Rollies.
We rolling again?
Yes.
All right, let's do one more because I really got to pee, and my other points are pretty minor.
Okay. Yeah, I got a couple of small ones.
I mean, if you're still keen on keeping it kind of short tonight.
Yeah, sure. Yeah? What else do I got here? I don't know. Oh, I'd like to talk. Yeah, sure. I got one. Go.
All right, let's do one more.
11.
11. I'm at a 3. Jesus.
Okay. Here's my quick hot take. It's not mine, but it's because Liam full on said it. Is that Odahan Thule is the Mandalorian?
Yep.
It's a jetpack, right? It's got to be a jetpack. It has to be. What the fuck?
The little hunch over the back.
Yeah. And then Fern the rat gets in there and sees the two.
What did she sense? Because she was like, "I'm looking for wires or something." Yeah. She really pushed it.
Pushed way too hard.
Yeah, at least through the Erica screams, she pushed it.
At least she was pushing it. I feel like she's really the only one in this campaign that's really pushing hard. The rest of them are kind of laying back a lot. And she's the one that's sort of really getting weird with stuff.
There's a difference between like pushing it with an idea and then like this this roll fails, so let me try this one. Let me try this one. And it's like,
Right.
well, okay, there's a limit to how what you're going to do. And of course, the DC is going to go up and up, right? You know, in the DM's
I'm not really
mind.
talking about that as much as I'm talking about the about her pushing the boundaries of what you should do.
Yes. Also that.
Yeah, because like even like when she said, she's like, wait. And Matt's like, yes, Fern.
And everybody else at the table was like, what the fuck are you going to do?
The best line, where is it right? I've got it right here. It's like at 3 hours. Fern's like, wait. Matt, yes, Fern. Fern, before she goes, Travis, God damn it.
Wait.
Sam, fuck you.
Wait, but wasn't it? Okay, I might get the thing wrong. I might have the wrong episode also. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it Matthew saying, Fern, what did you have in mind? Was that this episode, or was that a different episode?
That was a different. That was
a different episode. Okay,
yeah, that was back. That was back.
I'm going back through, so it's kind of hard to keep them separate. Okay.
Right.
And everybody was sitting there just like, dude, we had this conversation in episode 4. Like, it's gonna fuck us up one of these times.
Yep. And she again, really like, she should have fucking got stomped. She should have been seen. She should have
turned
been
over.
Shot. Right. It doesn't. It like if they. There's no way a rat. I don't care if she rolls a natural 20, right, on the stealth check. Doesn't matter. You're a rat running through an open courtyard.
You can feel.
This is like Liam even says this, right? Like Laura's like, oh, you got a natural 20. You got a natural 20. You can't. Surely it's, and Matt's like, for a total of, and Liam is like, yeah. If you trying to punch a god and you roll a natural 20, the god doesn't die. Like, let's get real here. You probably don't even, the god's like, oh, an ant. Like, it doesn't matter if you roll a natural 20 in these situations. It doesn't matter if you roll a natural 1 in certain situations. Yes, the dice tell the story, but it doesn't really matter in some situations. Some are just They just are.
Sometimes it's hard to hear when somebody's screaming.
Yeah, well, also that.
Yeah, because like when she started doing this, like, I'm gonna climb up this person. It's like, dude, if you're a rat, you're gonna feel that no matter what, no matter how stealthy you are.
There is no way a person like, if this was one of the most fearsome warriors in these Apex wars that they talk about, like, there's no way that a rat gets the chance to climb up. And there was so much wrong with that whole situation that it's just like, come on, Matt, do the right thing here.
That's how I felt.
Make it so that this doesn't happen again.
That's how I felt.
Or let them have their fun and just be real cool and it's all good. So I'm game either way. So I'm not really criticizing what they're doing, but at the same time, there's an argument to be made for, yeah, maybe he should have because what's the worst that happens, right? That's like, oh, you get shot. Take 8 hit points of damage. You get shot with an arrow or something.
You turn back into Fern.
You turn back into Fern. And then all of a sudden it's a super awkward thing that happens and they're like, they still do the race because now they're forced to, but now it's under duress as opposed to,
one thing I'm interested,
and lessons are learned.
One thing I'm interested in that situation is if, Ashley's putting herself in that situation as an actor, as an actress, whatever.
Yep.
Like, if I climb up, it's like, fucking roll a fucking stealth check. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, claws on fabric, definitely going to feel that. A rat is not weightless.
Nope.
And then what I'm thinking is Ashley's just throwing herself into a improv situation,
right? And that's
where she herself has said she's not that great at. And I'm like,
and this is what I was talking about.
If you get caught in it, fucking let's see what you can do. Yeah. And if you can't, then you might get into a battle with this person, and you might be fucking kicked out of the race.
Exactly.
That's
sort of what I was hoping to see at that point.
That's kind of what I was hoping too.
Good. This is lesson learned. You can't just do whatever you want,
and that's how Fern needs to learn it, not Ashley. Fern needs to learn that shit, as they said, like in episode 3 or whatever. That's eventually going to get us in trouble. Yep. They're kicked out of the race. Like, fuck. Well, Fern, did you learn anything? Like, well, maybe. As Fern goes.
And there's nothing wrong with that too.
Totally not. It's role play. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed every minute of it.
Hey, you got a yes and then we should probably wrap this up.
Shit. I guess I'm gonna yes and with something not exactly the same. There's at one point I forgot what it was. No, I remember what it was. It was the when Ashton gave advice to Laudna about how to say sorry or something like that. And he's like, "What was lost?" And he's like, "Oh, it was this." And I give her a pen or a pencil or something like that.
Right.
And then
she
he was
gave
like,
you a ring.
"No, what was lost though?" It was like, "Oh, it was a stone that I broke and I didn't mean to do it." And he's like, "Well, give her something kind of like a stone back so that it matches the thing." And then like when Imogen gives her a ring with a stone on it, whatever. Ashton comes in and like,
where'd you get the ring?
What'd she give you? Where'd you get that ring? You know, and she was like, "Oh, Imogen gave it to me." And then in the most cunty character possible,
I know.
he's like, "I'm always right."
So good.
Who says I'm always right? Who says that except for a fucking cunt?
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
I thought it was such a nice little marriage between like Taliesin trying to like, you know, get his point across and also his character being like, yeah. I thought it was great.
As is almost always the case, Ashton Taliesin's RP often gets overlooked by the rest of the table. They don't really see it because he.
I'm gonna have to piss real soon, so let's make this quick.
No, I just in that case, like he had some really great. He's had some really great moments as Ashton.
Absolutely,
they've been spectacular. They've been really good, and I think they go a little underappreciated.
I had knew it. That reminds me of fucking the Trailer Park Boys. A fucking Totoso.
Yeah. Totoso.
It's not exactly the same because it's like it's just not getting it right. But you know, instead of a mesh of two things.
Okay. Hey, let's do some quick little predictions here for next week.
Oh, for fuck's sake! If that's the case, I gotta piss right now.
Who dies?
I gotta piss right now.
Okay, well, let's pause.
I'm gonna turn off that fucking camera.
All right. While you're going, I'm gonna predict. I think here's my take on it that they're gonna have two cars. So we don't really know who's driving. I think they did talk about it, but they will probably change it at the last minute anyway. My take is that they do not win the race and somebody definitely dies. And I don't think they have any diamonds yet to do Revivify, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Maybe nobody dies, maybe they just go unconscious, but could be bad. I have a feeling that Dusk is going to be heavily involved in somebody getting taken out. That's my hot take. I think Dusk, she wanted FCG to be up in the air for a reason, to get him out of the way, I think, from healing anybody. So I think, pretty certain, that she is going to do some shenanigans to get someone killed.
This is a huge opportunity for this character to do some fucking shit.
Yeah. So I think she's going to work a lot of this stuff out with Matt ahead of time to be like, and Matt now. And then boom, 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 boom. Because chain reaction of events are going to happen.
Also, let's. I heard
She's smart.
I heard a little bit of what you were saying in there. That somebody's going to die. It's like, dude, this is not Crash Pandas. This is real stakes.
Yeah,
like sometimes people die. They say, or they go unconscious. You know, it sometimes happens. And one thing that stuck with me, that she made it strongly opinionated that Fern should be not on the car. She should be off on the side and doing things from the side, maybe creating whatever she can do with her
totally.
With her abilities.
And FCG should be up in the air, away from everybody, so he can't heal them, which is what he does.
Yeah.
So
at which point FCG
100%,
flips out about being in the air.
Yep.
Which is something in his backstory, I think, in their backstory.
Yeah.
But also, he wants to be there to heal people, but I think he
does.
hid behind that because there's been a constant thing about
The bird.
flying in birds.
Birds.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun if it was Jesse? That would be like, that's the bird.
Who?
Jesse, the Ashton's buddy in the All Minds Burn, the Ice Fura.
Oh, the shithead? You mean from the other episode? You mean the actual bird?
The bird, the Ice Fura, the bird person.
Oh shit! See, I didn't pick up on that goddamn shit.
It's just a fun little thought. It probably isn't because that'd be too obvious. But it would be pretty funny if it was that there's some weird connection there, and it suddenly comes because FCG never went to the All Minds Burn Castle of the All Minds Burn, or whatever it's called.
Right.
So we don't know. Maybe.
But FCG from episode.
From there.
I haven't even seen it yet, but episode 12 or something like that, FCG is like, no flying. No.
Right.
A very immediate aversion to it. And then as soon as they're like, well, we could maybe cast fly on you, and maybe that was Erica being genius, or maybe it was just like, no, I will not be flying. I will not be flying.
It was definitely her being genius, like get the healer out away from them.
I love how you're adhered to that. I would love to see how I can't wait to see how it plays out.
I've been waiting 3 campaigns for this, for somebody to fucking guess to
be geniusly against the party.
To be just like just come in and be like, hey guys, how you doing? Stab. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I think if you go back to our episode 3, I think that's exactly what you said.
It's real. It's what actually should happen. I mean, okay, listen, spoilers for those, not spoilers. Remember when I told you, when you sat down at the table with my guys, I'm like, hey, listen, you don't really care about these people that much. You're using them, and if shit goes south, get out. Not so much like turn on them and kill them, but you have no loyalty to them.
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation is key. And I'm like, you don't care about them that much. If they get hurt and get fucked up, get out of there right away. And it's sort of the same, like that's real. It doesn't matter. Loyalty, I think you were talking about campaign 2 earlier. Remember when Caleb turned on Mark Hume's character, Caliani?
It didn't turn.
Didn't turn, but wouldn't give the bowl back, right? There was that ceremonial bowl that they were looking.
He was concerned about the power of it, yeah.
And was like, right, I'm not going to give this to you because I just met you. I've only known you for a few hours. Why would I trust you? And it's the same thing. Like they've only known Dusk for a few hours, a couple of days.
Clearly not just a bowl.
Right. Yeah. Well, right. And Dusk, I mean, is clearly not to be trusted, even though she's like, oh, I traveled with the Callaways. Like these stories.
And she's really good with the sword.
That's what I wanted to say. Remember way back in camp with other guests. This was another point that I wrote down. Not a single one of them have insight checked Dusk yet.
What?
Nope.
Bullshit.
Nope. No insight checks. Why? Because this is the genius of Erica's acting, is that she has thrown herself out there to be this shrieker and high energy screamer, and she's just like,
out of character.
You guys, out of this.
She's only shrieking out of character. She's not doing it in role play.
I think it is part of it. I think it's both.
No. Sorry, Ben. That's no. When she's in character, she's not shrieking much. She's only reacting in the annoying ways that we've talked about. Out of character. She's like 19, and she screams about it. And like when she says like I'm gonna turn into a quokka, she's like, it's not in character. She's being a fucking actress. None of it is as Dusk. It's all as Erica. All of it so far.
I think that it is. I think that she's meshing the two of them so well that you can't distinguish between.
I understand the deception of it because she's sitting at the table. She's lying to them at the table as well, but it's not in character because she's not being Dusk when she's sitting there like. Because that's totally. It's not. If it's not in character, it's like I said before. It's like that Inception kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. I don't think you can tell the difference between the two. I think the character Dusk is actually doing the screaming as well.
But it's a different dimension. It's not her. It's not.
Nope.
It's not
the same.
It's not. That's Erica.
There are times Erica and Dusk are one and the same at that moment. At that moment.
Y'all, you need to get in touch here because, like, I think we're agreeing and disagreeing about the same goddamn thing right now. Like, when she's in character, when she's being Dusk, she's just like, oh, and she's talking. And then when somebody rolls a 19, that's not Dusk that sees them roll a 19.
No, it's not. But it's.
But
what does the
Dusk
role
that's
represent?
going, oh, and gets on her chair and starts fucking flipping out.
But
That's not Dusk. That's not the character.
What does the role represent? The role represents an amazing thing that happens that Dusk would react to. Because
Sure, but it's
such
not
an amazing
Dusk,
thing.
though. Dusk is not reacting because she doesn't know what the fuck they're rolling. She doesn't know what the fuck they're perceiving.
The role represents...
The character doesn't know.
The role represents an amazing thing that's happened. Like somebody does something outstanding and is really, really good at doing the thing.
So
then
Erica
it
is
shows.
responding.
And Dusk sees the thing that the character does that's amazing and reacts accordingly.
But it's not Dusk screaming. It's not Dusk screaming.
You don't know that.
I'm pretty sure I do. I'm gonna have to watch that shit again. No,
you don't know. You don't know that.
I'm gonna stick to this because I know.
So to reiterate, she never says. So Dusk is not the one screaming. This is Erica screaming. She also never says Dusk screams ah, or that's an amazing. She never says that. So you don't actually know if it's Dusk or if it isn't.
I'm just judging it from that episode where she turns into the
doing
quokka.
Right now. You're judging.
Sure, for sure. And I'm a spectator as anybody else.
Yeah.
And when she says like I'm gonna turn into a quokka, she just does this.
I'm really trying my best to be antagonistic here.
Oh, I know, I love it. And she sticks to this bit for so long. That's not Dusk.
You don't know that.
Just Erica.
I'm sticking to it.
That's Erica putting forth, as you're saying, perhaps the genius forth to get the players, not the PCs,
right, out of their heads,
and out of this thing that thinking that maybe she might be.
Yes.
But also, as you said earlier, also like I'm pretty sure that a few of them have an idea that maybe she might be a little bit fucky.
I think they do. Mm-hmm.
But her screaming about that's not Dusk. It's not Dusk.
I think the other thing is I don't think I'd be very surprised if any of them suspected her of evil doings. I think they suspect that there is some other something that's going on. There will be a little bit like, oh, she didn't actually know her parents. She was lying about that, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they suspect that there is something evil. I think they suspect that she's not telling the truth about other things.
They do that with absolutely everybody they meet.
But again,
and I'm talking about the players.
The players. They have not once insight checked her. They have not. Now, check me on that, please. But I very firmly believe they have not. I realized it this episode. I was like, there's the moment when where did I write the thing? When Dusk asks Lauden out for dinner and does the whole thing, I realized at that moment, I'm like, wait, why is nobody insight checking her? Why is nobody insight checking Dusk? Like, what is?
Was anybody else there?
No, but why didn't Laudna? Like, why was it when
too charming.
When she asks out Orem, like, what are you doing tonight? Like, why isn't
there's also nobody there?
Also, but this is Liam we're talking about. Liam, who insight checks everybody. He should have been like, wait, why is this person asking? Can I insight check her? Like, that's what Liam does.
Maybe that's everybody's weakness.
They're all
the possibility of sex.
Her spell. They're all under her spell. That's what's happening here. Is that she has done this so well that she's thrown them all off the scent so badly that they have no clue what's going on. They're all lost. On that note, we should wrap this up.
Yeah, we should. Like, remember when he said, like, I wouldn't mind if this was a little bit shorter. We're at an hour 20 now.
Episode 27, a race for the prize.
I think that's the thing. Like, if we actually want to have a shorter one, don't say it. Because it's just going to be, like, it's going to be an hour 15, you know. I think this is our longest yet. Which is fine, hey.
Erica is Dusk. I wonder what.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. Do you know her real name? Do we know her real name yet? No, we don't, eh?
No, we just know Dusk.
Yeah, it's just Dusk. Yeah.
I think even in that little exchange, I don't think the name was given.
The Sora, we don't. Yeah, right. The Sora Lord's a Thuda. That's the only name we got.
Yeah, it was just like, do you have this or
Sora
something like
Lord.
that?
What a wonderful title. The Sora Lord. Jesus.
Now you know what? Like predictions might even be pushed an extra episode because they're going to do the race next episode.
Yeah,
and it might be another day before her parents show up.
The Callaways show up. Yeah, it's possible. We don't know the schedule yet, right? Like I'm just looking at the time. Yeah, well, it's got to be because they'll take the next week off.
Right.
So they always take
next episode. If they don't show up, then we got another 2 weeks before we can figure this shit out.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
And hopefully Erica.
We don't know that for sure
free.
because they haven't announced that, but they did say they will be taking the last week of the month off. They didn't. They did some wonky stuff a couple of months ago, right? Where they just did back to backs. But yeah, they'll probably. So that's why I think the timing works out that there will be. They probably recorded this series day after day after day after day. They probably did bang these out all in a row.
They got to change the clothes though.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Day after day after day after day, not back to back, but like one day after the next. They probably did this. They probably did these four all in a row, like 4 days in a row.
Are you saying you don't wear the same clothes like day after day?
Do you?
I mean, I guess it's been a week, but
okay. Is that why you can't fold it?
That's why it's really hard to take off.
It just comes off as one piece of plastic.
Like a saltine cracker.
Yeah. Oh, man. I miss saltine crackers.
Oh, one of these days.
Yeah,
oh, next summer. I can't wait to go back. I just ran out of fucking deodorant, man. I got to stock up.
I had Triscuits. I had Triscuits when I went back home. I fucking love Triscuits. Hey, let's wrap this up. You got anything going on?
Yeah, no, nothing to promote or anything at this point.
Me neither.
Yeah, guitar's out of town. We're gonna record and we've already said it. Yeah, plenty of shit here, but we've already gone an hour and fucking 22 now. Shit, yeah. So let's call it then, eh? Fuck. So all this conversation, just get in touch down there. Like, we're on Discord and email comments.
And chat and comments. YouTube comments seem to be good. Do that.
Yeah, that's the best way at this moment. Like, man, my summer camp just got me like, I don't give a fuck about anything except for this podcast and just fucking getting through the goddamn. So yeah, putting comments down there is the best way to get in touch. If we're full of shit, or if we're right, or if we have said something wrong, or if like if you're definitely sure that Ben is definitely wrong and you're definitely sure that I'm right, then yeah, get in touch right down there. All the information is there, or just fucking comment. Other than that, if nothing else, Ben.
Nope.
Cheers, man. It's good to see you.
You too.
Well then, don't forget to love each other and. Is it finally Friday? Peace.